Welcome to the monthly What's Hot in Real Estate. My name is Athena Chalikas Barocas, broker associate and realtor with Coldwell Banker Realty here in sunny South Florida. I am thrilled to be here today to talk about one of the most important topics in the housing market. We're going to go over home prices and answer the question, are we in another housing bubble? We're going to talk about supply and demand and how that is impacting home appreciation today. And we are going to compare this hypercharged 2022 market to the housing bubble of 2007. But what we're seeing, experts are all projecting home prices to rise. So I want to stop here for a moment and talk about supply and demand. You've heard me mention this several times that the inventory and supply and demand balance is really what determines where home prices go. And I think the next graph is a really good foundational element to start that conversation. And this is how the market impacts or inventory impacts home prices. So, right now, we're squarely in what we'd call a seller's market. We've all heard this, we've all felt this. And that's what you can see over there in the blue bar. Essentially, it means more buyers in the market than homes available for sale. They're competing for homes, that's driving prices up. That's a general law of supply and demand. Anytime there are more buyers for an item than people selling that item, prices will rise because people are willing to pay more for them. Now, a neutral market is where everything kind of balances out. And a buyer's market is where there are more homes available than buyers interested in purchasing them. So that causes prices to decrease. We are definitely in a seller's market, a very hot seller's market. So I'm going to show you right now new listings, and they're actually falling dramatically right now. This is a look at 2021, month by month, new listings coming onto the market in thousands. And what you can really see on the right-hand side is October, November, and December. Listings really started to decline once again. So not as many listings coming onto the market at the end of the year. Now, this is pretty typical for the housing market because we generally see listings softening in the winter and picking back up in the spring. But this year is different. So that brought us really to the historically low inventory. And what I'd like to show you is that active listings are also dropping again. So what we have again, October, November, and December, active listings towards the end of the year. And this means that homes are selling just as fast as they're coming onto the market. So buyers are in high demand. There aren't enough homes on the market. They're not staying on the market. They're not staying active as listings because they're going pending and sold so quickly. As prices are so high and they're rising so significantly, people start to wonder about the housing market. And people remember what happened when the housing market crashed. They remember prices skyrocketing and they worry about a housing bubble. And now the data today shows, and this is really interesting, it's from realtor.com, and it shows that worries about a housing bubble still persist. Now, this is the percent of people who say they believe there's a housing bubble where they live. And so, among consumers, 77% feel that there's a housing bubble in their market. That's 3 out of 4 people feel like there's a bubble about to burst. Now, you know, if you've been following along with us, that we've shown the data month after month that we're not headed for a housing bubble, but consumers are nervous. So, what I want to do is really point out the picture from an inventory perspective, a supply and demand. And we're talking about today. So, on this slide, I like to show you the inventory of homes today. It's nothing like last time. So, this is the month's supply of existing homes for sale in December of each year. Now, you can see on the left hand side the 4 years of the housing crash, on the right side, the past 4 years. So, let me break this down for you. The orange bands on the left, 2000 through 2010, show that there was a buyer's market. We had an oversupply of homes. So you remember that graph I just shared with you on the seller, neutral, and buyer's market? These bars show that when a buyer's market, when the housing market crashed, 9.6 months of inventory in 2007, 9.4 in 2008, significantly higher than we are today. And today you can see right on the right side the blue bars, 2018 to 2021. So even in 2018, we had 3.7 months of inventory on the market. It was significantly higher than we are today. And the low was 3.7 months of inventory going into the pandemic. So as you look at 2021, 1 year after the pandemic started, we only had 1.8 months of supply. Completely different story than we did during the housing bubble. So when people remember the housing crash, we have to remind them that inventory is totally a different place today. So yes, prices are rising based on supply and demand, but they're nowhere near where they were last time. Now, this interesting thing is that, well, I told you I wanted to walk you through buyer demand. So take a look at this. We hit a record high of a 15-year record in existing homes in 2021. So this is the number of existing homes from 2019 to 2020 to 2021. You can see in 2019 was 5 million sales. We broke that record in 2020 with 5.6 million. And in 2021, we crushed that with a 6.1 million homes sold in this country. So what does that say? That says buyers are out there. They're looking for homes, they're purchasing homes, and they're actively in this process. So we have high buyer demand. We have low inventory, significantly different fundamental than we're in the housing market when that bubble burst. And the truth is that people who purchase homes can afford them. So you know the credit scores are nothing like last time. I want you to take a look at this graph. Blue bars from 2003 to 2007. Significantly more loans were issued to buyers who had a credit score of less than 620 than we are now. In 2008 to 2021, you can see those lending standards have gotten much tighter, meaning that buyers are essentially showing that credentials that they are able to afford their home. And that's leading to loan opportunities. So very different lending standards are creating a landscape that's nothing like last time. Credit scores are definitely tighter this time around. And if you're worried about any fundamentals of the market, let's think about equity for a second. Homeowners have a significant more amount of equity in their homes than they've ever had. I hope you enjoyed this, What's Hot in the Real Estate Market. I hope you understand the difference between the market in this hypercharged 2022 versus the housing crash of 2007. If you have any questions, you're free to contact me. If you're thinking of selling or buying a home, you're free to contact me for a private consultation. Other than that, I hope to see you next time, and thanks for joining me today. Have a beautiful day.